We are now 6 months into the war in Ukraine, and the effects of Vladimir Putin's special military operation are spreading far beyond Eastern Europe in a manner that it's affecting life for just about everyone. Grain shortages are being caused by the blockade of Ukrainian's Black Sea port. Energy prices are soaring thanks to Russian decision to limit gas supply to Western Europe. And of course, millions of innocent families has been forced to leave their homeland to start new lives in a completely new country. While Russia's President Vladimir Putin's forces continue to pursue his war plan, Ukrainians' armed resistance has impressed the West by facing down a much larger opponent. Following Ukrainian successes early on in the war, Russia has turned its attention toward Ukraine's eastern part, particularly Donbas border region, and the more recent phase of the war has been going more in Moscow's favor. Still, it could be a long road ahead with negotiations largely abandoned. All of which leads us to a question. Can either Russia or Ukraine be said to be winning this war? Both are claiming, of course, to have the superiority. Russia has made significant progress in the east and has linked its two republics in Donetsk and Luhansk with Crimea, which Russia annexed in 2014, and Ukrainian forces increasingly targeting key facilities far behind the front lines, including Crimea. Hi, my name is Gio. Hope you're doing well. In today's episode, let's take a look at the current situation in Ukraine, what it means for the West, and what is coming next. Let's get right into it. Where does the Ukrainian war stand after 6 months? When Putin declared the start of the special military operation, he urged Ukrainian's military to turn against government in Kiev, reflecting the Kremlin's belief that the population would broadly welcome the invaders. Some of the Russian troops coming in from Moscow brought their parade uniform in preparation for a quick victory. Those hopes quickly disappear as Ukrainian resistance, backed by Western supplied weapons system to the government of President Volodymyr Zelensky. Despite numerous attacks on Ukrainian air bases and air defense assets, the Russian air forces had failed to win full control of the skies and suffered heavy losses, limiting its ability to support ground forces. The Kremlin then shifted its focus to the Donbas, Ukrainian eastern industrial land, where Moscow-backed separatists had been fighting government troops since 2014 following Russia's annexation of Crimea. The strategic port of Mariupol on the Sea of Azov that became a symbol of Ukrainian resistance fell in May after nearly 3 months battle that completely destroyed the city. More than 2,400 Mariupol defenders were hauled up at the giant Azovstal steel plant and were taken prisoners. At least 53 of them died in an explosion at a prison in eastern Ukraine that Moscow and Kiev blames on each other. Ukraine has had several disadvantages from the start, including being unable to match the heavy artillery of Russian forces. Although foreign governments are increasingly sending Ukraine's more advanced weapons, it takes time to train Ukrainian soldiers who have relied on Soviet-era calibers. But Ukrainian forces recently reclaimed some ground, striking bridges and targeting munitions depots. Meanwhile, both sides have traded accusations of shielding the Russian-occupied Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, raising fears of an atomic disaster. Western weapons, including US multiple rocket launcher, have boosted Ukrainian's military's capability, allowing it to target Russian munitions depots, bridges, and other key facilities with precision and impunity. Another big win for Ukraine came when Russian troops pulled back from the strategic Snake Island located on shipping lines near Odessa following relentless Ukrainian attack. Russia suffered a new loss this month when a series of explosions at an airbase and munition depots in Crimea. There was no doubt about Ukrainian involvement. The explosions, which were followed by drone attack, underline the vulnerability of Crimea, which holds symbolic value for Russia and is key to sustain its operation in the south. They showed that Ukrainian forces are capable of striking far behind the front lines, and Ukrainian officials warned that the 19 kilometers Crimean bridge, the largest in Europe, could be the next target. Ukrainian counteroffensive. President Volodymyr Zelensky announced on Sunday that the Ukrainian counteroffensive had made progress after taking 2 settlements in the south, a third in the east, and additional territory in the eastern part of the country. He did not identify the exact location of the territory and providing no timeline other than saying that he had received good reports at a meeting on Sunday from his military commanders and head of intelligence. In his night video address, Zelensky thanked his forces for liberating a settlement in the eastern Donetsk, also in an eastern area in the Lysychansk direction, and for liberating 2 southern settlements. US reports said that North Korea is supplying Russia with weapons. Russia has been forced to buy military hardware from North Korea as sanctions squeeze Moscow's ability to supply its military. Iran and North Korea, both the target of significant Western sanctions, have increased relations with Russia since President Vladimir Putin launched his invasion. The exact size and scale of the new weapons deliveries revealed by the reports remain unclear. A US official said that turning to North Korea for support shows that the Russian military continues to suffer from supply shortages in Ukraine due to the export control and sanctions. But according to the Center for Research on Energy, economic sanctions have done little to damage Russian income from energy export. It estimates Russia has made $158 billion from surging fossil fuels prices during 6 months invasion. NATO responds to the war. NATO members have sent billions of dollars of military aid to Ukraine, including crucial weaponry, without which the country would have been defeated in 2 or 3 weeks. At the 2022 NATO summit in Madrid, leaders of the 30 NATO members agreed to increase the allied military presence in Eastern Europe, and on the final day, Turkey withdrew its objection to Sweden and Finland's affiliation to join the defensive alliance. Finland's addition to the alliance will increase NATO's military capabilities but open new 1,300 kilometers or 830 miles border between it and Russia. Russia's attack on Ukraine has pushed European countries to expand their military spending. In June, Germany approved a $100 billion investment package to update its underfunded armed forces. EU diplomats warned that weapons stocks are running low. Arms stocks in the European Union are running low as member countries continue to send weapons to Ukraine. The bloc's foreign policy shift warned on Monday EU nations to better coordinate their spending on military materials. At a meeting in Czech Republic, EU defense ministers debate ways to better pool military materials and resources, but also to bulk purchase weapons like air defense systems that Ukraine continues to need. What's next? The worst outcome will depend on the ability of Russia and Ukraine to attract additional resources. While Ukraine has conducted a mobilization and declared a goal to form a 1 million member military, Russia has continued to rely on its limited number of volunteers, an approach reflecting Kremlin fears that mass mobilization could be really hard and destabilize the country. Moscow has been trying to encourage people to sign contracts with the military, increasingly engaging private contractors such as the Wagner Group, and even rounding up some prisoners for service, but being unable to meet the need for any big offensive. Ukraine also lacks resources for any quick reclamation of its territory, with barons estimating it could take another few months to be able to push the Russians out of Ukraine. The consulting group Universal Defense and Security Solution said that it can only do it if the West provides political will, money at about $5 to $6 billion a month, weapons like long-range artillery, the ammunition that supports that artillery, and then enable the logistic and medical support that allows Ukraine to build a million-strong army. He said the West should be prepared to continue supporting Ukraine for a long time despite soaring energy prices and other economic challenges from sanctions imposed on Russia. He also said that abandoning Ukraine will send a message to Russia, China, and everybody else that the West does not have the stomach to stand up for its friends or even its own interests. Thank you so much for watching. As always, if you find this content helpful, smash that like and subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and check out all the links in the description down below. See you in the next video. Stay safe.